He is our dual threat analyst, specifically covering football on today's show. Blaine Fowler, Uncle B. Blaine, how are you this fine morning, good sir?
I'm doing great. And each day of this week that comes is one day closer to game day. And I just keep getting excited. So, can you guys see that picture behind me right there? Can you see
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
LES.
Is there anything more exciting than that stadium full like that in that setting? It is one of the best, if not the best, environments in all of college football. And I can't wait for game day to be here Saturday, to be back there with all those fans looking just like that.
Blaine, I don't know what it is, but you just look smarter to me right now.
I know I'm wearing glasses today. My eyes are like these are my reading glasses. Like I can see far really good, but up close sometimes I have trouble. And my eyes are messed up this morning. I don't know what's going on. I need to get some more sleep before our game on Saturday, right?
Rest up, man. Come on, let's go. We got a lot to discuss and in a short amount of time, so let's get right to it with, of course, the quarterbacks. You played quarterback at BYU. You know what a quarterback battle and competition is all about. Bear Bachmeier is the guy who wins that competition, Blaine, and will be BYU's first ever true freshman quarterback starting game number 1. So what is a fair expectation for Bear against, frankly, a bad Portland State team?
Yeah, I don't know how much of a test this is going to be. I feel like this is just an extension of fall camp where it's like a scrimmage and it's different people showing him different looks. You know, he may see some things in this game that Portland State didn't show in their week 0 game. So we're going to see how adaptable he is. But this to me is more about, hey, get him over in the stadium with a full house, with all of the pressure of everybody looking in a game day environment, and see how he manages that. I think it's a great first game. When they announced the schedule and they said Portland State, who has been a good program but really struggled last year, and we knew this was going to be a rebuilding year for them this year, I thought, yeah, that's kind of okay. That's when we had Jake Retzlaff coming back, right? But when Jake left, and then when 2 weeks ago when they named Bear Bachmeier the starting quarterback, I thought, this is a great first game to have. Like, this is exactly what he needs to do some things and to further what he's already shown in camp, and to get some things under his belt to progress along this pathway that really needs to kind of not come to its completion, but come to where he's competitive and P4 ready by the time they play Colorado.
As for the team, Blaine, when you play a game like this where you're favored by more than 40 points, the outcome really isn't in doubt. But in terms of what would make a successful afternoon for this BYU team, where do you land on that? What does this team need to do in this game for it to be successful?
You're not just looking at score. That doesn't really give you an accounting of what they would like to accomplish in this game. I think you look at with Bear in particular and with this offense, can they effectively move the football without turning it over? And in most games, I'd say win the turnover margin battle. In this game, I would say don't turn it over, period. Can they play completely clean on offense with no turnovers? That, to me, would be the challenge that I would be issuing if I was A-Rod, because I think it can be done against this team. There shouldn't be so much pressure that they make bad decisions. So I think we'll look at that. Does he spread the football around on offense? All of a sudden, with Carson Ryan at tight end, do the tight ends get involved? Do both running backs get involved? Is there balance? And this is a game where you could probably line up and just run the football right at Portland State for 450 or 500 yards rushing and not even throw it. Take you back to the 96 BYU-Utah game where Norm Chow just said, well, if they can't stop us running, we're not gonna throw it. And I think Sark threw it 12 times. It was embarrassing for Utah. This is different than that. You could do that in this game. I think you need to let Bear throw it 25 times in this game. He needs work in a real game situation. You got to let him throw it, and you got to let him play a little bit longer. If they're up by 35 at half, he still comes out and plays the third quarter. I think he needs reps. So those are some things I'm looking for offensively. Defensively, I want to be – you can never be error-free, but I want to be big mistake, error-free, if that makes sense. I don't want to see this defense give up big plays over the top because of blown coverages, improper rotations, bad communication. Somebody's going to miss a tackle. Somebody's going to get beat in a one-on-one. I mean, those things happen. I want to see execution on this defense. There's enough veteran players at the important positions on this defense that I want to see near flawless execution when it comes to not giving up big plays, either in the run game or the pass game over the top. And so those are things I'm looking for. Regardless of what the score is, I want to see the two sides play very clean and execute at a high level. There's enough veterans on this team that that's not a crazy expectation.
Blaine Fowler is on BYU Sports Nation. We are discussing BYU in Portland State, but let's take it bigger picture and point out what Jason and I talked about early in today's show, and that is BYU's favored in 11 of 12 games according to ESPN's Football Power Index. Purely mathematical, no opinions there. The numbers like BYU. Why do you think, Blaine, that BYU is looked at so favorably with those numbers in play?
It's interesting because I do feel like that ESPN, that their power ranking and all of that. And Spencer, you and I were talking about this yesterday when I was there in the studio taping after further review. ESPN's formula takes a lot of metrics into account, multiple metrics that they throw in there. I kind of trust that one, although it's been wrong. It's been wrong, and it morphs throughout the season because this is all based on preseason projections. But I feel like it's a fair evaluation of where BYU is based on who they have coming back in key leadership positions, based on the depth that they have versus last year, and based on who they brought in. For instance, we're all worried. Well, they lose 4 starters on the defensive line. And then all of a sudden you get Keanu Tanabasu, who transfers in, who's phenomenal, like an NFL draft pick type of a guy. And some guys that have come back from missions that were part-time players last year that are now in full health. And like I point to somebody like Cody Hagan. Watch Cody Hagan have a crazy breakout year. So based on who they have coming back, who's now been back a year from a mission and is going to step up their game, who transferred in, I feel like the metrics have hit it on the money this time with ESPN. And I think it's not crazy to have. Now, that may change. There may be a surprise team that's later in the season that BYU's favored in that all of a sudden goes out and wins 7 straight to start their season, and then BYU's not a favorite on the road. I think the schedule also sets up well. I was talking about this last night with Gavin, actually, where I felt like the 2 toughest games on the schedule were at Iowa State and at Texas Tech. And then I thought they were a toss-up, but they're not a toss-up. Iowa State's the toughest game on the schedule. It's on the road at a difficult place right after BYU plays a rivalry game. That's the toughest game. Texas Tech, BYU gets to play after a bye week.
Yes.
And Texas Tech happens to be at Kansas State while BYU's sitting back and getting ready for Texas Tech. That game has a little of the edge taken off of it for BYU because of that bye week. So everything sets up for them to have a magnificent season. Those types of seasons always mean you stay healthy throughout the whole season. That's always the big X factor that you can't predict. But they stay healthy. I like the way they look, and I think ESPN's pretty much on the money.
All right, Blaine, back to Bear for a second. Who or what do you expect to be his biggest security blanket this year?
Interestingly, I think Chase Roberts is going to be his go-to guy just because he should be, right? Like he's so big and he's so long and he makes so many difficult catches when he's actually got people in his vicinity. You could say he's covered, but if the defensive back or the linebacker that's on him doesn't have great leverage and you throw the ball away from the coverage, even with somebody right on him, he's going to go make a play for you. He's the kind of receiver you got to have. Like when I was playing, and I don't usually go back to when I was playing, but people remember this name. We had Glenn Kozlowski, who played with the Bears. Whenever I was in a game, if things got all bunged up downfield and I couldn't really see the way I wanted to see or couldn't find anybody open, if I caught Glenn Kozlowski in a glimpse of my eye and recognized he had one-on-one coverage, in my mind, it's like, oh, I could just throw it right there. He's open with one-on-one coverage because he's going to go get it and he will not let it get picked. That's who Chase Roberts can be and should be for Bear this season. And then the other one that maybe we haven't thought about, because as I've watched fall camp, Bear likes to throw the ball to the tight ends, and Carson Ryan has made this magnificent transformation From kind of new and not knowing what's going on in spring to fall camp, where he looks like a legit big-time All-American type tight end for BYU. I think when things are breaking down, it's always nice to have a big body inside to dump the ball off to, and I think Carson Ryan will be that guy for Bear. So I think those are the two guys.
Smart man. I said the exact same thing, Blaine. I said it's Chase Roberts, and then 1A would be Carson Ryan.
Well, and there's one other little wrinkle this year that we're all going to see, and these backs, so especially, in fact, all four of them. All four. Let's just talk about all four of them because I'm going to include Nohini and Preston Rex in this, but especially those two starters, Sione Moa and LJ Martin. They're so good at not only running the entire offense in the run game, but they both are very good at catching the ball in the backfield. We're going to see some two-back sets. They're going to get some mismatches with a linebacker's going to have to take one of those guys. And that's going to make it really easy for Bear to identify who to go to. And when things are not looking great and you can just dump it down to running back, so you throw the ball 3 yards down the field and they run another 20 for a first down, that run after catch with those guys, they're really going to help them this year. So let's not forget that those backs are complete, not just running backs, but catching backs out of the backfield.
Great stuff with Blaine Fowler. I'm a man who appreciates a big-time vocabulary. You have that, Blaine, specifically using the term bunged up, which is an informal British English term. You brought it, and it means congested, and I have so much love and respect for you and your vocabulary.
You know where I got that word?
Where's
Norm
that?
Chow used to use that word all the time. When Mike Holmgren was our quarterbacks coach and Norm was the offensive coordinator, he used to say to us, guys, Blaine, Steve, like Robbie, when it's all bunged up down there, like check down, get the ball out to the easy throw, take the easy throw. Don't throw it when it looks all bunged up to you. So that word's been part of my vocabulary since the 80s, and Norm Chow gave me that word.
I love it.
Well done.
Blaine, great to talk with you, man. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Blaine.
All right, guys, thanks.